Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Fireside Chats with AR Farina. And then today in Pride and Prejudice season, we're going to end our discussion on the Bennet sisters, and we're going to talk about ever troublesome, ever problematic Lydia Bennet, the youngest Bennet sister. Now, in the last episode, I talked about why Kitty was important, even though she seems to not be important. Lydia is a MacGuffin in this book. So before the word MacGuffin was invented, the MacGuffin is the plot device that makes the thing go. It's the thing that we're all looking for. Lydia becomes a MacGuffin. She becomes a thing that we're all looking for. So there's a turn in this book where Lydia Bennet, so there's a villain. We'll talk about him when we get to the dumb boy section. There's a guy called Wickham, and he's important for all kinds of reasons. He's a villain, he's a hero, he's a this, he's a this. Lydia, 15-year-old Lydia, runs off with this guy who's like Darcy's age, who was a little bit younger than Darcy, but who for a minute had a thing with Lizzie, but then he ends up marrying her little sister. Now that is a thing that Jane does. We'll talk about that more in Persuasion. It's weird, but it's just also a thing that happens. She's commenting on it. You're like, ooh, gross. Right, ooh, gross. But it is also a thing that it's a thing that happened. And so she's commenting on it, and you're supposed to feel a way about it. If you didn't think it's weird that this guy who was totally into Lizzie ends up with her little sister. Now she's 21, so it's not that big of an age gap, but she's 15, and I know the time is what it is, but he's definitely way too old for her. Anyway, they run off together, and she disappears. And so that is the moment. So in the big MacGuffin, let's all search for Lydia. These are the moments when the Lizzie Darcy stuff, when they close. Right. So again, when we get into the plot and we start discussing about the feminism and the chivalry and all that other stuff, we'll get to that. But Lydia runs wild, and again, that's why Kitty's important, because without Kitty, Lydia doesn't get the opportunity to run wild. So she's really like a hormonal teenager. She loves boys. There's no doubt about. But she is straight as an arrow, and boy does she like boys. Boy does she like boys in uniform. And so Meryton happens to be this town where all of the soldiers come and the reserves stay there. And so they're always there. And she's always like, woo. And she's out in public and making a fool of herself and dancing with these young, randy men who are like seeing her as a woman. And they're all out. We learn from Lizzie that they're all out at once, which means at the time it meant that they were all available to be married. And so usually like families of good fortune, the oldest sister and then maybe the second oldest sister are both out, but then one has to get married before the other and then do that one at a time. They're just like, you're all available to be married. And that's actually the whole plot of the book, right? Is that Mrs. Bennet wants to get all of her daughters married off. More on her in a second, or in a couple of episodes of Mrs. Bennet. But so Lydia is the wild child, and so it's tough. What does Jane want us to think about Lydia? Is it all Lydia's fault, or is it Mrs. Bennet's fault? Is it Mr. Bennet's fault? Is it the Bennet sisters' fault? Is it Kitty's fault? Who's to blame? Or is it a societal thing that we put all this pressure on these girls at way too young of an age to like age themselves up and to be women before they're ready? And I think what makes what makes Lydia such an interesting character is that this is still something we do. This hasn't changed. We still do this. This is not something we're not like, oh, we've learned our lesson. We have not. We still do this to girls. We still age them up. We still, yes, of course, girls develop faster than boys. That's just a fact. That's just science. That's just puberty. But we don't have to put that pressure on them. Just because they're going through puberty younger doesn't mean they're actually women. They're not ready for that. But in this time, that is what happened. And we're doing it now. We put so much pressure on girls to become women. And yes, you can call them young women when they're 13, 14, 15. Sure, you can call them that, but they're not women. They're still children, and they need to be treated as such. And Jane is having that commentary on what we do. We rush girls into adulthood. They're completely unprepared. Nobody's training girls for womanhood. We're not training girls for adulthood, but we're making them do that. And so Lydia is the perfect representation of the rushing the girl into adulthood. So is she terrible? Yes. Does she do some dumb things? Of course. Is she mean a lot? Yes. She's also mean because she's mean like a spoiled little kid, and yet here she is off the first of them to get married at 15. But I think that's the point. We're supposed to be grossed out by it. So that is Lydia Bennet. Hero, villain. Do we feel sorry for her? I don't know. What do you think? Do you feel sorry for her? I do a little. I do a lot, actually. She's also terrible. Can it be both? I think it can. So that's my Lydia Bennet episode. Tune in next week. We're going to talk about the bonus Bennet sister, Charlotte Lucas. And then we'll get into Mrs. Bennet, and then we'll switch genders. There's a lot going on in Jane's most popular and probably best, but not my favorite, but still amazing book, Pride and Prejudice. All right, I'll see you next time.